Hello, hello, greetings, love and peace. How's everybody doing today? Uh, Welcome to Critical Thinking and Common Sense with your host, Obanmila Nasir Kayende. Today is a beautiful day. I know it's Monday, but every day that you live to see is a beautiful day. So get over it being Monday. Today, we are going to discuss a topic that is very, very, very important right now in 2018. Now, what I want you to understand is there are going to be a lot of people who tell you that these statistics are not correct. Because they don't want you to know the truth. Now, let's go ahead and get into it. This topic today is going to be on how incarceration in the black community has a ripple effect and how it affects generations. We must teach each other. I want to let that go right there. Anyway, now we got the music out of the way. I want to apologize for my videos before. I know at times I've seemed like I was a little lost for words. I'm going to explain. I've been sick for a while. I won't go into what it is. And I'm under a doctor's care. Sometimes it affects my motor skills. Sometimes it affects my thinking. But it's under control most of the time. So that's why sometimes you'll find me searching for words. Let's get into this right here. Incarceration in the black community. Okay? Now, the whole dichotomy of this situation centers around how it affects not just that person who's being incarcerated. It's going to show, and we're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about how it affects the individual, how it affects the families, how it affects the children of that individual, the neighborhood, and also when they come back when they're reintroduced into the neighborhood, how it affects the job availability for people who have come back to the neighborhood, and really how it affects voting structure, definitely in voting strength. Before we go too far, as I always do, I use a little, knowledge from other literature. I wanted to read this right here. This right here is from Alice Walker. And this is the book called Now's the Time to Open Your Heart. And this part right here in the book I think is very interesting because it speaks to us if you listen to it, right? It says here, "It is not what you think," he said. He paused. "Rather, it is exactly what you think. Yes, there were centuries of terrorism, and this was a common incident. The nigger running, the white fiends chasing, the sound of the dogs. They were curiously inept at creating entertainment for themselves that didn't center around us. I imagine this has not changed." "Oh, no, you shot him and hit him through the heart," one of them said, as they stood looking down at me. And you know what? So disappointed was he to be robbed of the good time he looked forward to, of torturing me, that he turned on the man who shot me and hit him. Right there, as I was dying, they began to fight. "This is what I want you to remember," he said. "Not how painful having my teeth pulled out must have been. We are very old. Our people. Not many could have suffered as we have and survived. We have had many lifetimes as human beings to learn of the many, many ways we do not wish to be. But we are human, and therefore we already are every way there is. You understand? Now, I want to start off, first of all, discussing what Trump has been parading around, celebrating, and patting himself on the back for. Okay? He has been telling everyone that he alone brought the rate of the African American unemployment rate, he brought it down. He says that's his doing. Well, let's look at this for a moment. According to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, this data was extracted April 30th, 2018. Okay? Now, when Obama came into office, 2008, after the Bush administration, the rate of unemployment for African Americans was at 9.1. In 2008, it was 9.1. Now, when Obama came to office, you know that he received a lot of stalemates and a lot of issues and problems getting things done with the Republicans still in office. Okay, so by 2012, it had rose to 13.6. From 9.1, 2008 to 13.6. Okay, because of all the problems he had getting things passed. Now, in 2012, he had brought it down to 8.9. That is lower than it was when he came into office. 2012. Okay? Now, from 2012 to 2017, it turned into 7.8. Okay? It went from 9.1 when he came to office. He brought it down to 8.9. And when he was going out, it was down to 7.8. By the time he left, it was under 7.8. At right now, as it stands, it's 7.7. Now, how could you take credit for something that has moved 1 point? 1 point. So if Trump is going to run around and tell people that he did something great, if that was because of him, he brought unemployment rate down 1 point. Okay? Understand that. Now let's get to this right here. The way that incarceration works, of course, we know that African Americans and people of color are indiscriminately targeted for jail time and being policed at a much higher rate than Caucasians and Asians. You know, I'm just saying, it's the rate for it is African Americans that get the highest incarceration and get arrested the most. And then it's Latinos, Latinos, and then it's Asians, and then it's Caucasians. Now, the reason I'm not putting Native Americans in there is because they have a reservation, and normally, though they are